All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to this special presentation here on BreakyCPK, and actually going to be doing another patch 3.6 Calamity's Corruption patch coming out here. We're going to do a special balance discussion here. We've been doing this and got a couple of pro players that we're getting in touch with and getting their opinions, both likes and dislikes that maybe they had with this patch overall. But it seems like, you know, the big picture, everyone seems to be enjoying it for the most part. Hopefully you guys are that are tuning into this, and hopefully this will even help you enjoy it that much more. But with that said, for this segment here, I'm joined by the one and only What You Got, actually, of currently Nullstone Gaming. How's it going, man?
It's going pretty good.
Yeah, it sounds like you're a big fan of this patch, like many others. Overall, you're enjoying the patch. You liking it?
Yeah, I've been playing TMM and been noticing a lot of the changes, and a lot of them are really good. It's been fun. Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about a lot of those goods. Now, yeah, understandably, there's some dislikes here. And again, when it's such a big patch, it's going to happen. So, again, we'll bounce back and forth between likes and dislikes, and then ultimately, you know, maybe finish off, you know, getting your opinion on overall on the patch and just even something looking forward to as far as future changes possibly. So, all right, so let's start it off here. We got one of the dislikes, actually, maybe you weren't as much of a fan of. We got a dust change, dust revelation, actually. Pretty simple, really, but cost increase from 180 to 200. So why were you not maybe a fan of this change here?
Okay, well, it sounds like it's not that big of a deal because it's only 20 gold, but the way that I see it is a lot of the times you want to pick up dust early on in the laning phase. Maybe if you're against a suicide with invis and you want to score, you know, an early kill, and you know, you're investing 200 gold early on, which could be, you know, 2 wards, or you're saving up for your boots or what have you. So I just think that even though it's 20 gold, it could kind of make a difference like early on in the game when you want to pick it up to score kills with it. But as far as when you go into the mid game with this item, it's not really going to matter too much. I just think it hurts the early game slightly.
Yeah.
So that was my thought on that change.
Yeah, you know, especially with like Veiled Rot also, you know, starting to enter the scene, increasing the cost of dust, you know, makes the Veiled Rot that much more powerful, even you could say.
Yeah, definitely.
That's going to be interesting to see. You know, again, minor change ultimately as far as the numbers go, but hey, could have a high impact. We'll see how that moves forward. Now, on to the good changes. On to one of the good changes here. This is one that might be understandable why you like this one. Warbeast coming at you. Of course, you got mana decreases on both his Summon Hellhounds and his Metamorphosis, aka his ultimate here. But you're a fan of Jungle Warbeast, arguably the one that really plays it most out of anybody right now. So you like these changes.
Definitely. So yeah, as you said, I'm a big fan of the hero. I play it a lot. And so what I really like about it is that now I think with the mana changes to the wolves being 25 less, is that I think now Jungle Warbeast has the option of maybe going Battlecry. And that I think could be a much bigger impact on, you know, being able to play it in the jungle role, because when you do so, you kind of AFK, you farm a lot, you don't help your team, you don't offer very much. But if you can do the same thing in the jungle that a Suicide Warbeast would do, you know, giving your team the damage and laning phase, I think this hero can be ran in the jungle a lot more effectively now, and you can still have your presence being felt, you know, on the lanes, which is the big drawback to, you know, going the wolves and the passive build when you jungle. So
now, you know, again, obviously you play this hero a lot, and so maybe a little bit of bias there, but it's do you really think that this hero, that overall the big picture, that this was necessary for the hero, you know, making it so he's not as mana
I don't know if it was necessary. Again, like early in the game, the hero has a really low mana pool. You know, you can maybe get 2 sets of wolves out, but I don't know if they needed to do this per se. I think the hero is in a pretty good spot. He can be ran jungle or suicide currently without this change, but you know, the patch was aimed at helping him jungle, and I think I just think that now he has the option of Battlecry or the passive skill. So.
All right, yeah, that seems to be one of the more debated ones, honestly. It's kind of fun to see that, and you know, going to be interesting to see how that impacts moving forward. As that we like to, of course, follow the competitive scene at least. So, All right, and yeah, that is something to keep in mind too. Of course, with these balance changes, sure, you know, understand from your aspect, you know, thinking a lot more competitive side, but this is to the whole community. It's not just focusing on the competitive scene at the same time. So you know, taking that in consideration too. But okay, so back to one of the good ones here. We got. Let's do Lex Talionis here. We got Lex Talionis. They actually got quite a couple of changes to it. Its range was increased. Its recipe cost decreased. The mana cost was removed as far as using it. And now it also even dispels the debuff from yourself if the target that you put it on dies early. So a lot of buffs all across the board for an item that we really don't see often. Are we going to start seeing this, you think? And why do you like these changes?
Okay, so my personal opinion is that I think this item is good. And like you said, the reason why we don't see it picked up more frequently is because of the negative side where the debuff where you would have less armor, magic and physical armor. So now that if you kill the hero that you debuff with it, that state will get removed. I think that just makes this item that much better. Like, I think heroes that maybe want to do a lot of roaming and offer more utility for your team, maybe like the support or the jungler, I think those are the types of heroes, maybe even suicides, heroes that want to be active in gank. I think those are the types of heroes that you could possibly see picking up this item like earlier in the game. And it's a substitute for picking up Mystic Vestments because it gives you the magic armor. So I think that's another plus side to the item. So I think that with all these changes, and also the mana cost too, that's kind of a nice change for if you pick it up on a support. I think those are going to be the main reasons why we can see this item picked up more frequently now.
Yeah, well, do you think it's almost safe to say that this has honestly been an undervalued item even before these changes, or was it kind of necessary for this to happen?
I think it needed a push in this direction because the negative aspect to it was really, I think that was really the reason why people didn't want to pick it up for their hero. Yeah. I think you would really only see this item maybe picked up on like an empath because you could hop in your carry and you wouldn't have to worry about being focused down. Yep. So in that respect, you'd be safe from the debuff. But now that if you kill the hero and then you don't have to worry about the debuff anymore, that just completely takes that factor away from the negative piece of the item.
Makes sense. All right. So yeah, gonna be interested to see if Lex Talionis perhaps starts popping up a little more as a result of these changes here.
I'm gonna start trying it.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Yeah,
I know I am too. Yeah, amongst many things. I mean, there's so many things to try in this patch. Anyway, so moving on here. Actually, one more maybe dislike. You know, you being a jungler yourself, understandable why you might not be a huge fan of this one. But the removed Antler Necromancer camp only from the pole camp. So I mean that you like, but you think it should be from all the camps. It sounds like so.
Yep, it is. It's my honest opinion that I really just think this. I think the camp honestly has no purpose in the game. Like, quite frankly, I just think that it doesn't really offer anything. It's not something you would want to, like, if you were an Ophelia or Parasite, it's not something you would want to take over and control. Like, just because of what it does, it doesn't really offer very much. You know, you can summon skeletons, and it's not really. They're not really that effective. Like, if you wanted to push or something like that. And then also the fact that. I think the Necromancer camp has something like, or the Necromancer itself has something like 800 HP. It's kind of obnoxious trying to kill it early into the game. Like if you, like that's your first spawn, it's hard to kill, and it's ranged, ranged creeps are just a pain on their own. They're hard to like kill outside the spawn and stack them sometimes. But so yeah, I just feel like it's completely unnecessary to like even be in the game, honestly.
All right. So again, play a lot of jungle yourself. So it's removed from the one camp. We'll see if that goes further in the future. But this is a start, at least. It's a start.
Yeah, I mean, I am happy. It's it's at least a mini step for that.
All right. The final good change I wanted to talk about, of course, there's just many more even, but the final one that I want to talk about here on this segment is Geomancer. It's one you brought up here, and Geo's always been a fun hero, I think. A range increased from 1,000 to 1,250 on his dig ability, so that much further initiation chance as a result. So why do you like this change here? What you got?
Okay, first of all, before I even talk about the hero, I've been playing this hero a lot in TMM. I like to play it Suicide. I like to play it as like a roamer. I think the hero itself has a lot of potential, and we don't see it very often in competitive. I think Tree, I think maybe Boxy probably plays it the most. They play it sometimes, but it's not picked up too often. And I think the hero has a lot of potential, and I think by increasing the dig range, even though it only seems it's not a big number, it's 250, but
No.
you can feel it when you play the hero. And also, the thing that I think makes it better is the fact that now that Veiled Rot's introduced, I believe the range on Veiled Rot is 1,000. So now that his dig is more than that, you can actually use that tool with Veiled Rot and, you know, try to work your way around heroes and then come at them from angles they may not see them, may not see you, sorry. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Geomancer picked up more in sort of like a utility roaming type of role. And I think he can be very effective in the current metagame right now.
For how I keep stressing this myself, for how popular Magmus is on the competitive scene, he's a very similar hero to Magmus, arguably better in certain cases. I mean, sure, Magmus has his strengths over Geomancer, but Geomancer has certain, especially when it comes to like lane harassment. I mean, that's a big one off the top of my head. So, and the dig, as you mentioned, the range on that's obviously far superior to that of Magmus, especially since you can activate like a portal key in mid dig range or in.
I was just gonna say that. I think that's another thing with the dig is that you can use the portal key with dig. So that just means your portal key. You know, portal key dig combo can reach even further, so you can initiate from even further away now.
Yeah.
So I think it's a pretty good change.
I hope, if anything, this is one of those bringing attention to the hero. It's like, even though it's not a huge dramatic change, it's like, oh, that's right, that hero, hey, got to change it. And now let's try, oh, wait, this hero has been really strong this whole time. And now he's even that much more powerful. So that's going to be fun to see Geomancer.
Obviously, I don't have Quincy here with the stats, but I want to say that when Geomancer has been picked up, that it's been fairly successful so far. I want to say anyway. I seem to think it has
Boxy,
been.
as you mentioned, at BreakyCPK, I played it several times earlier on in the season at least, and I do remember it being very, very powerful for them. So
yeah, he plays it very well. I think we had Fuzzy Sloth play it maybe 1 or 2 games.
Okay.
But very situational. We've run it before.
Definitely.
So,
all right, so that pretty much goes over the changes we want to talk about here. Again, there's a lot of changes in this patch, and so we could do this for hours here, really. But
I could go down the list. There's, when you asked me to pick like a couple, I literally wrote down like maybe 15 or so that I was just like, oh, I like this, I like this. Yeah, there's a lot that I like. Yeah.
There's a lot. So, but you know, that's also why we got several of these segments here for you guys to kind of check out and get different opinions from across the scene here. So, with that said, what you got, appreciate it. Thank you for joining us. Well, I mean, before we do, is there any other changes? So, with all these changes, is there still like a hero or something you would want to see perhaps change in a future patch off the top of your head?
Okay. I honestly, it's my honest opinion, I think Dr. Repulsor needs some slight toning down.
Okay.
I think that, well, what I find strange about Doctor is that he's an intel hero, and yet he starts the game with a very high armor, which I kind of don't understand why. I kind of scratch my head at it. I feel like that needs to be looked at a little bit. And also, I feel like his ultimate, for the amount of mana you spend, you just travel way too far. But that's just how I feel about the hero. Maybe something else would be certain heroes like Puppet Master and Gladiator that have these splashing passive abilities. I would personally like to see those abilities become toggle activate, where you can turn them off when you don't want them to work. So like if you're playing short lane carry role and you don't want to push your lane to the other team's tower, or if you're trying to stack a jungle camp and you don't want to like instantly kill one of the small creeps in the spawn, just, you know, little things like that I think could maybe even we could see Gladiator more frequently because of, you know, that change.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point actually. Yeah, that would be something to see if that's a possibility in the future or not. But all right.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
There we go. Thank you, what you got, once again. Appreciate it. And thank you for your time and taking it with us here.
Definitely. Thank you for having me. It was fun.
All right. So patch 3.6 Calamity's corruption here. The patch is out. I know even many of you have already been enjoying it, but enjoy it further. Again, just in time for the holidays. And boy, oh boy, what a lot of changes that happened. Again, we can only talk about so much here, but check out the other segments that we did as well. Again, doing it with several pro players here from the competitive scene, getting their opinions, helping you understand maybe a little bit more about certain changes and what they ultimately think as well. So, you know, take that as you will. So, thank you guys for tuning in, and definitely check out the other ones, like I said, and hopefully enjoy patch 3.6, guys. Again, Calamity's Corruption now out in Heroes of Newerth.